everyone, and welcome back to Life's Unfair, my Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous playthrough series. Today we are going to be picking up right where the action starts. We're going to be tackling the Gargoyle fight, as I promised, and the Gargoyle cave encounter, both of which are particularly painful, so let's jump right into it. Mountain, you see a raided camp and two groups of warriors, one wearing white and yellow armor, the other in black. They're led by a tall man in white priest robes. Some of the warriors glance around fretfully, their weapons shaking their hands. You hear the screams of gargoyles from above. Beasts are approaching the camp.
Quickly, evacuate the wounded. The beasts are about to strike again. Use cloaks as stretchers. We've got to make it through. Paralictor, your people will have to cover us while...
2 more minutes left out in the open, and neither you nor I will have any troops left to order about, Crusader.
That's the Paralictor?
But the wounded...
Oh. Well, he doesn't discriminate. He killed his own men too. I thought he was just going to kill a priest and leave his own dude, but nope. That wouldn't be a Hellknight. They are very strict. Okay. Paralictor will lead the unit to shelter. We need to get through to them, sure. What level are the gargoyles, may I ask? Because if they're like level... Oh, okay, well, sure. That's one way to find out. What level are these things? I must know before we... Okay, level 5. Humanoid. Let's do this first. And that did jack shit. Okay, perfect. Let's try putting one to sleep here. Okay, wall saving throw failed. Good. And then that's her turn done. Let's...
I'll cut you wide open.
Oh god, okay.
You crossed the wrong mongrel.
Coup de grace this. Let's get him away. And let's... We need to use this. And we need to use this.
Hold on, just a little more. Forgive me for this failure.
So as you can see, this doesn't necessarily go all that well. I was a bit surprised here. I wasn't expecting an encounter to appear right as I, basically enter the zone here, and then the kind of the dialogue with the cutscene with the Paralictor. So I was definitely unprepared. We do come back and try it again without buffing up too extensively, and doesn't go too well. But we figure, okay, we gotta pull out all the stops here and actually buff up and try this out, and then it works a little bit better. So using the buffs and just spells, we determine that they take more spell damage than physical damage. So between the buffs and spells, it went pretty quickly. But we are actually able to hit these guys right with melee. Some of my characters here are able to hit them pretty well. Unfortunately, Doggo goes down and does not get back up. That changes fairly soon here. We do finally pick up some nice levels on the dog via the Cleric spell tree, or the Cleric, skill tree, that gets it like 3 additional levels and basically makes it so that you can ride around on it. It grows massive, it can wear armor, it becomes a total badass. It can tank almost as well as Razor Fiend. currently, where I currently am. And I have 3 of them. I have one on LAN, I have one on Social, and I have one more on Sela. But they're rarely in the same party, so... Yeah, and then here, right, we rush, maybe rush a little too much and get killed. So I'm going to speed through this bit over here. Thankfully, it only takes one more failed attempt here, where we do things right, but Razor Fiend just gets unlucky and gets killed. And then we have our successful attempt here.
And now somebody else got Smite. And what we're going to do is we're going to play much smarter this time, in that boom. And then, where is she? Boom. Where are we targeting? This guy. Okay, it worked. Coup de grace.
These magics should be used in other ways.
And then she will cast it on this guy. And she will cast again on this guy. Didn't work. God damn it. Cast again. And did this fail? It failed. Okay, so that.
We shall overcome.
Everybody target. Well, not her. Yeah.
Cover me, all right?
Wait. That didn't work, okay. Now she's on heal duty.
Really have to micromanage a lot of these fights to find success. Unfortunately, the coup de grace didn't work, otherwise it would have made this a lot easier. So we gotta throw in some heals here to keep our boy alive.
Actually, let's not summon.
The spirits demand your blood.
Let's keep doing this. And Ember, yeah, she's on that. Lan,
You've
on
crossed
that.
the wrong mongrel.
Her.
You won't survive me. Endure this.
Come on, heal, heal, heal. That was close. Heal again. Actually, Lan, we're gonna have you give up protection here for a heal. Okay, good. And then, boom, we're gonna switch over to melee for Woljif. And we're gonna switch over to melee for Camellia, too.
So yeah, thankfully we're able to take it down without too much difficulty here. Do go through a few of our spells, right? We use a bunch of heals and stuff like that, and then some magic missiles. But we are able to move on. So at this point, I didn't know how long this entire series of encounters was going to be. But yeah, there's a lot of gargoyles to deal with here.
I will see this through.
So we just end up rebuffing here and then talking to this guy, speeding through the conversation. We don't want to waste our buffs, and then moving on to the first big encounter, I would say, here, and discover that we are woefully unprepared for this. So initially it just looks like a bunch of gargoyles, so it doesn't look too bad. It's like, okay, we can deal with gargoyles. We've dealt with gargoyles up there. Unfortunately, grease doesn't work on these guys, so crowd controlling them just doesn't work. There are more gargoyles than usual, but they don't look too tough, right? Just the plain gargoyles themselves are not that big of an issue. And I don't really notice that gargoyle standing in the back over there that's just chain casting. That is the reason this fight is such a pain. He is absolutely absurd. So I try, you know, I'm pulling out all the stuff. So I am fully buffed at this point. And it's not working. It's just not working. I'm using my summons. The summons are being dispatched almost immediately. And then I finally discover the guy in the back that's just chain casting. So it's not looking good. Two of my characters are down, Camellia. Oh god, well, there we go. Unfortunately, just cast an AoE and killed my two sleeping babies. So it's back to the drawing board. I'm going to speed through the failures from here. So it did take me about an hour and a bit, actually close to 2 hours to get this part of the encounter down. So initially we do try, just attacking them head on, but it's proving to be tough even with everything prepared in advance, right? We're throwing down CC, we have all the summons ready to go before the fight even starts. But even with that, the caster in the back, the Gargoyle Cleric, just makes it ridiculously hard. Because not only is he super high level and very difficult to hit, but he chain casts very powerful single target damage spells. He casts Hold Person. He casts area of effect spells as well. So it's very, very, very tough to deal with his kit. So here instead of trying to fight them head on, I'm like, okay, let's try and position more optimally. Let's maybe pull them to a choke point in such a way that, right, they can't really get by Razor Fiend, and we can kind of shoot into the pack of them. So let's position them in such a way that we have an advantage. So initially we try at the bottom of this ramp here with some CC to stagger them, right? Entanglement, but entanglement doesn't do much to them. And so this proves to be fruitless, right? Even pulling them to the bottom of this ramp it's absolutely not working. And so we're just pulling further and further up the ramp, trying different things, because the ramp kind of snakes back on itself. We're like, okay, maybe we can kind of use that to our advantage and pull them in such a way that we can kind of shoot them while they're running up the ramp. But that doesn't work because a Cleric is, he really messes this up. So what I end up doing here is positioning my party way, way back from the main fight. I pull with Camellia, right? She pulls with Entanglement because that just hits everyone, gives me a bit of time to prepare. Definitely have to keep them interested. And then she runs back here, Razor Fiend. So one of the things you have to worry about here is the Hold Person spell. So the Gargoyle Cleric, the first thing it casts is Hold Person. And that is a big problem. If it lands on your tank or if it lands on the person that's doing the pulling, it will, that person is just going to get destroyed. Thankfully, Razor Fiend has pretty good resists, so he's actually able to resist the Hold Person spell. I know I skipped through a bunch of the attempts, so you probably didn't really see, but in a few of the attempts where I was trying this, Camellia was getting hit by Hold Person, and then they just focused her and killed her immediately. So I had to, that's why you see me running Camellia past Razor Fiend, kind of to the north of him or whatever direction, so that he becomes the focus, right, based on proximity. So you can see here we do get pretty lucky. We are able to, and the reason I've positioned like this is specifically for that area of effect. I don't want the Cleric to be able to just kill my backline here. And as you can see, right, the only thing that really works here pretty well is Stinking Fog, Stinking Cloud. It does keep them CC'd. You can see there, that was very lucky that Stinking Cloud took hold on the hunter there. Otherwise, that would have probably been the end of my attempt. I switched to turn-based mode the second I realized that it's decided to switch off Razor Fiend onto the back line here. And yeah, then it's just a question of focusing it down. But this fight is far from over, right? Even if you take down the hunter, he's not the worst part of this whole fight. The worst part of this fight is definitely the Gargoyle Cleric here. You can see he is still spamming AoE because there are the skeletons in range now, but I don't mind too much if they die. And they don't take all that much damage from the spell either. They basically take none because they're already undead. It's just Razor Fiend that takes a little bit of damage. So I decide, you know, I'm going to use healing potions. I don't really want to risk my party being hit by those spells. And so that's really the biggest threats are down now. Or the biggest melee threats are down. It's just the Gargoyle, a standard Gargoyle there, and the Cleric. The Cleric being the biggest threat here. So we're like, okay, let's focus down. Come on, let's focus it down. Let's get it down. Get it down. Come on, come on. Yeah, I'm not looking for apologies here, Ember. I'm looking for results. God damn it. Okay, so they've switched off Razor Fiend now. This is definitely the worst part. One of the worst parts of Unfair is the fact that enemies just switch off the main tank after a certain amount of time. They just get bored and they just go and destroy the backline. So let's use up our summons here. We are committing to this fight. I'm pretty sure that this is the last part of the encounter. I was dead wrong about that. This is not the last, or even the worst part, not even close to the worst part of this whole Gargoyle frenzy encounter thing that you have to go through here. But thankfully, you know, you can rest, so you're not locked in to just the spells that you have. Unlike Social's quest, when you go to the graveyard and do that, you can't rest. You can't rest and you can't leave. And that makes it a bit of a pain here. So you can see, right, there are more Gargoyles coming up here. So we have the Cleric to deal with, and there are more Gargoyles coming up the cliff here. Right, let's just add more fuel to this fire. And we're like, okay, come on. Let's take this guy down. He's still spamming channel negative energy. Thankfully doesn't affect undead. I decide to summon my Azata, the Razor Fiend. Come on, let's take him down. Spells, let's just use everything we can. Cast haste on land, that way it hits everybody in the party. Yeah, let's hopefully do this. We gotta keep Razor Fiend up, because now we got a bunch of Gargoyles coming up here that are gonna do damage. Gonna do some serious damage. Oh my god. Oh my god, come on. Oh my god. Yeah, and that's one of the bad things about the Azata here. It does cast area of effect spells, and they do hit your own party. The sound burst spell. So now Ember is almost dead. We're out of summons. Yeah. It's looking pretty desperate here. Come on. Let's finish off the Gargoyle Cleric, and then we'll have kind of an easier time. God, standing in the middle of all of them, making it extremely difficult for me to target. Come on. One more hit, and this should be good. Oh my god. Come on, let's do this! This is absolutely nerve-wracking. I'm losing my mind here. Because if even one of these Gargoyles lands a good hit, that's it. I'm dead. No. We gotta start using Ember to nuke here instead of heal. Because the longer this fight goes on, my buffs run out. I'm expending other precious spells. We gotta take this down ASAP. So Ember has some decent AoE. Let's use Stinking Cloud here because it affects the Gargoyles pretty well. And it's really the only CC we have that really works against these guys. We really need to take that thing down ASAP. Damn it. Thing resisted it. Ugh. Come on, Nenyo, you can do this. So you can see how difficult this fight is. I didn't even know about the second phase here going into the fight. I wasn't aware that another set of gargoyles spawns after you kill the first set. So trying to fight them down there is definitely out of the question. Not a good idea unless you have, you know, a very well optimized party. You definitely want to bring them up here as high as possible. Maybe not even here. You can probably even go further up the ramp. Because technically if you go further up this ramp, you can shoot them while they're running up. So that might make a difference. But the cleric can also nuke you while it's running up, so kind of got to balance that out. But now we have the cleric down, so it's just the gargoyles left. The Stinking Cloud here has CC'd 3 out of the 5 of them, or 3 out of the 4 of them, which is helping a lot. And now we just have 3 of them left. So I'm going to speed through the rest of this here. It's pretty standard. The fight is essentially done. And then after this, we proceed, loot up the camp, and then we head on into the next part of this disgusting, horrible encounter. So we do get some decent stuff from the camp, from all the bodies here, some nice armor. And then we head on into this cave here for a surprise.
The moment you step across the threshold, you're targeted with pale yellow eyes. This guy is a real piece of work. I don't like him. A gnome with considerable grey in his hair, dressed in black armor, lowers his head slightly. Knight Commander, I presume. Your glory precedes you. I'm Regill Debrief. Fitting name. Paralictor of the Order of the Godclaw, and temporary officer of the joint unit of Hellknights in the Order of the Sunrise Sword. You and your people should take position. So go... what? Are you kidding me, brother?
Yeah, so I'm clearly pretty unhappy about this. I thought the fight was over, and then when we enter the cave, we were going to have a nice reunion with this piece of work and then move on. But nope. Now we have to play Defender and fight waves of gargoyles. Goddamn.
Indeed. The gargoyles were clearly trying to capture as many prisoners as they could. I don't know the reason behind these abductions, but I'm not about to give the enemy what they want. That is why all my people were ordered not to be taken alive. And as for the wounded, we didn't have time to get them to safety anyway. Okay? Only someone who's never been responsible for the lives of others could feel any outrage at this decision. The wounded couldn't be saved. What good would it do to anyone if the rest perished along with them? A joint unit? Like joints, huh? Forcibly joint. Regill speak with military precision economy. The leader of the Order of the Sunrise Sword was unable to get to safety, which is not surprising considering his, shall we say, excessive scrupulousness and sluggishness. Given the extreme situation, I took command of his people. Just great. Paladins, Hellknights, all in the one troop. It's like catching the plague and the pox at the same time. Technically speaking, there isn't much in common between these events. Well, Paladins may not truly be frequent members of Hellknight orders, except for the Order of Godclaw, of course. The probability of contracting both the plague and the pox is not all that low. One would simply have to engage in debauchery during an epidemic. Aw, Ninu, you're no fun. Wolf chuckles and sticks his tongue out at Ninu, feeding the dog. It's supposed to be good when different people unite. We are here for a common cause, but it still gives me the creeps for some reason. Hellknights should be allowed to get their claws into our paladins. It's wrong. Did you really give 2 flasks of water? Yeah, I spared them the exact volume of resources I could sacrifice without risking my own people. However, the situation has developed, and I've already ordered they be given additional supplies. They are temporarily under my charge, and I can use their forces to rebuff the attack. They'll work for their water. Regill raises his voice and speaks emphatically. Jesus, no empathy in this one. Ignoring a whisper coming from a group of Knights of the Sunrise Sword. He seems to be reiterating his position for their benefit. I'm gonna go with lawful. I like your approach. It makes sense to make sure your people have enough resources and then share what remains with everyone else. I'd say I'm willing to spend resources on those I deem useful, but yes, you described the matter adequately. No, we're not going to piss this dude off. I mean, I don't like him, and I disagree with what he did, kind of, but at the same time, considering it was either that or be slaughtered. I mean, he didn't need to necessarily kill them, he could have left them, but he probably saved them from a fate worse than whatever was awaiting them.
Can we retreat already?
More. Okay, let's let our friends here tank. Holy God. Did they just spam everything onto Ember there? Okay, are you fucking serious, dude?
Yeah, terrible encounter. This place is literally the gift that just keeps on giving. So I have a tough time even handling the beginning of the encounter here, because the Gargoyles just chain smite one person. They drop like 5 smites on one dude, and they don't get off that person. And the target of their ire tends to be just Ember all the time, and they will run through like 50 NPCs to get to her, and they just keep murdering her over and over and over again. So I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? How are we gonna deal with this encounter? Right, so what we opt to do instead is like, okay, instead of running my whole party into the encounter here and starting it, I'm going to keep my whole party at the entrance of the cave here, send the dog in and start it, and then I'll be, I can join in the encounter when I feel comfortable. But nope, they thought of that. So a gargoyle spawns right at the entrance here, and it will see through your stealth. I mean, maybe if you have like invis on everybody, you'd be okay, but I didn't come prepared for that. My stealth is not good enough, and I don't have enough invisibilities to cast on everyone to make them all, make the gargoyle skip the party here. So I run the dog in, start the encounter, and then I have to deal with this gargoyle at the entrance. And these things are hard. They destroy Razor Fiend. They ignore Razor Fiend sometimes and just go for the rest of my party. It is not fun at all. So we're trying to figure out what to do here, right? So it turns out just positioning is super important. Being buffed up and ready to go is super important. And getting lucky with not having the whole mob of gargoyles destroy all the defenders here and come to your party is important. So parts of this fight that make a big difference to me are the fact that 2 of the named NPCs here, Regill and his buddy, are basically invulnerable. They cannot die. And also, the other Hellknights and Defenders, they can die. But if you reload the game, they just stand back up and get back into the fray. So technically, they're immortal as well. And I use that to my advantage. So you can see here, right, I'm basically casting Stinking Cloud repeatedly at the entrance and trying to take down this set of gargoyles here and hoping that it works. And in the end, we get lucky. We get very lucky here. So you can see what I did here. I cast Create Pit on my own party here in a hopes that they will actually fall into the pit and not get killed by the gargoyle. I cast it intentionally on myself there because I don't want my party to be targeted by these gargoyles. And so they end up targeting Razor Fiend. You can see my other dudes are falling into the pit there. And look what happens. Look what happens here, right? So they fall into the pit. The other defenders are coming up here to help. Only Razor Fiend is really being targeted because my other guys have all fallen into the pit here. Razor Fiend goes down, but he doesn't die. My whole party's in the pit now. Look at that. Look at that. My whole party is in the pit now, and all the enemy NPCs are up here. And then that gargoyle decides to switch off my party onto the enemy NPCs, and that is crucial here. Look at everyone's health here. Only Nenyo is alive. She survived a hit there because she had mirror image on. So at this point, we're like, hell yeah, we're doing it, right? The encounter's almost over. All we have to do is take down this last gargoyle. The NPCs can help me here, and then we're good, right? Then we're good. But little did we know right? That is definitely not the end of the encounter here. So we kill that last gargoyle, right? We're able to re-stealth. We're able to save.
Oh my god, it worked. It fucking worked. Are you... What the hell? That is so goddamn cheesy. I used the pit to escape. That's amazing. That is effing amazing. Oh my god. Yeah, we're just standing back here. Now he's doing the rest. It's all on Regill. It's all on our good friend Regill.
Or so we thought here, and we were woefully wrong. Owlcat really designed this encounter to destroy sanity. So yeah, take a couple of steps forward, and look what happens. 50 more gargoyles spawn. And I'm like, okay, that is the end of my attempt here, but it turns out that those gargoyles they don't respawn if you reload. So if you've saved at the entrance, and then you walk forward, they don't respawn. So that was a one-time thing. I got very lucky there, and I can't refresh my spells. And I'm like, okay, what can we do here to, speed this up, help Regill maybe, do things like that. And so, yeah, just looking through our inventory, trying to figure out what we can do. And so this is the solution that I come up with. Let's use Dimension Door. Let's get past this whole fight. Let's get into this corner here. And let's save, right? So Dimension Door, and then get out of combat and save. If we'd been hit by that AOE, this would not, it wouldn't have worked. But thankfully we positioned in such a way that we don't. And you can hear Regill there, right? He says, "I refuse to surrender," or whatever. That's basically an indication that he's unkillable. He says that every time he's about to die. And yeah, so this is, I get to put away my weapons, I get to go into stealth, and I get to save the game. And that basically saves this whole encounter here. Because now we're just down to the last few bits that we have to take out. So you can see Regill putting in work here. And every time so look at this. Every time I save, you can see the Hellknights get back up. And so thankfully we saved there, because you can see that some of the gargoyles that spawned in the back, spawned on the ramp there, they came down for me and killed me. But it's just a question of attrition at this point, right? The last thing left is that gargoyle hunter, as far as I can see. No, the gargoyle cleric, gargoyle high cleric, not even a cleric, it's a high cleric. But now, right, it's on Regill, and I'm like, okay, let's help our buddy out here, because otherwise this is going to take absolutely forever if we have to depend on him to take this thing out. Technically, you could just stand in that corner and chain spam saves, and the defenders would just keep getting up and getting back into the action, and you could completely avoid combat that way if you wanted to. You get EXP from all these encounters, from each one of these kills, and even if you don't participate, which is amazing. So that's basically how this whole thing went. After that, we're like, okay, we're done here. Yeah, just a level 13 casting gargoyle cleric there. Nothing to gawk at. But nope, we are not done here. There's more to this fight. Thankfully, not much more, but we do die a few times here, because I do opt to actually try and help. And then we finally get the last bits of this encounter down. There's another cleric up here. I keep everyone in range. I'm like, I am not going up there. Y'all can tank that. Razor Fiend is not touching any of that. We're just going to shoot at it from the back line here. And, right, it works. Right. It works.
Oh, and then all these, and then all these. Like, what the... What was Owlcat thinking? What the hell were they thinking when they designed this encounter? Like... The fact that two of these people are invulnerable kind of gives me the idea that maybe it was designed to be cheesed, but I wonder if they figured out that this was this is a possible cheese strat, because You can't stand there because they spawn up here. You can't run from here to here because the gargoyles just chase you down and murder you if you try and get there. So what you have to do is you stand here, you teleport over here, and then you start the encounter after that. Like, wow. And you just stand in that corner and let them do all the work. That is unbelievable. I'm stoked that we were able to do that. That was definitely way harder than it had any right to be, honestly. Yeah, thanks. You two check the area. Mark any potential shelters that offer protection against aerial attacks. Quartermaster inventory. Wait, how did gargoyles? Were they hanging off the stalactites or something? Inventory the remnants of the camp. I want to make sure the gargoyles only abducted people and weren't interested in anything else. Send messengers immediately to our scout squads and order them to return to camp. And I need a full list of casualties. The sooner the better. He turns to you, not slightly. Commander, your arrival was well timed. Now we can finally talk. I'm quite interested in the event that occurred in the Great Garrison, and I suppose you have questions for me as well. What do you want to know about what happened in the Great Garrison? Any shift in the balance of power during this war has a direct impact upon my mission. If a new player appears who is capable of fighting demons effectively, then I am ready to support that person with all the resources I have at my disposal. Regill speaks pensively and talks as if talking to himself, but naturally I cannot blindly trust a stranger, even one marked by the gods. God's blessed me with an incredible gift, and Queen Galfrey put me at the helm of the crusade, but that's not enough for you, is it? Let's play to his kind of disposition here. What if I want to join? No, I don't want to join. What are the Hellknights doing here within the border of the same as you and your army, fighting a war against demons? The Hellknights have always been part of the Crusades from the very beginning. We don't answer to Queen Galfrey, and we act on our own authority. We serve the common cause. Discari's spawn have no place in the world we want to build. What does Paralictor mean? I'm the commander of this unit, and in the Order's hierarchy, I'm 2 steps lower than its leader. In the territory of Mendev and the World Wound, there are few who equal my rank, but I am the most senior Hellknight officer for many leagues around. There are a few who equal my rank. We are not done talking about your atrocity. I will rid the world of you, and the world will thank. What if I'm wondering? The requirement for knights and signifiers are common knowledge, and they must certainly be satisfied. If you do that, the Order will consider your request. Any further discussion prior to your completion of the necessary task is pointless. Not every fighter or spellcaster is fit to serve with us. I'm not fit to serve with you either, and I have no intention. We're not done talking about your atrocities, of course. Paralictor doesn't seem hurt or surprised. If you wish, I will explain my position in detail. All the soldiers killed at my order belong to my unit. Therefore, the case is an internal matter for the Order of the God. That's actually true. Even the guys that were technically not in his unit were enlisted. I mean, they were attached to his unit when he ordered them killed. So I guess that's true. You could have sent an appeal to the Order of Commanders, but the result is inevitable. Not only do the Order rule and field operation guidelines not prohibit it, they even recommend a policy of death is preferable to captivity. So everything that happened, though it is surely lamentable and deprived me of a few good fighters, is also a prime example of military necessity. That's fair, man. I hate this dude, but I'm not trying to force our rules on Crusaders, Commander. I hope you won't try to make us disregard ours. No, sure. If the incident is settled, I suppose we can return to relevant matters. What are you going to do now after the Gargoyle attack? I will wait for my remaining fighters to return. What you see here is only a small part of my forces. As for my long-term plans, that depends on the results of our conversation, Commander. Before we move on to serious subjects, I'd like to address an organizational issue regarding my unit. You may wish to be present. Okay. Yeager steps forward and salutes with a clenched fist to his chest. Paralictor, permission to report. During the first Gargoyle attack, I determined it necessary to leave my post. Oh no. Oh no, he was the guy that brought that brought us here, and I know what's going to happen here. He's going to punish this guy for abandoning his post and for like not wearing the hell. Oh my god, dude, no, that I can't abide by. That I'm not going to allow. There's no way. Yeah. Oh, okay. You'll earn double salary for your resourcefulness, the acre, and 100 lashes for abandoning your post. Okay, 100 lashes, that's fine. The young knight grows a little pale, but immediately salutes again. Yes, Paralictor. Chaotic. I wonder if it's foolish and overly harsh to punish Jacob for leaving his post when he did it to bring help. No. I mean, if that was a good choice, I would consider it, but no. Regill, who has watched you closely throughout the entire conversation, nods to himself. Now, for a more delicate issue. You, Commander, were interested in our dispute with the Knights of the Order of the Sunrise Sword, correct? Their forces in Canabra suffered great losses in the demon attack, and now their leader has perished and his troops in trouble. They are reeling with no command structure. Their order will hardly be able to recover from the losses they've suffered. What are you getting at? These fighters aren't the finest material I've worked with, but if I assume formal command over them, I'll be able to reforge them into weapons of reasonable quality. One or two might even become true Hellknights. The rest will be put to good use as well. Do you really think these people will follow you after how you've treated them? Though not the best, they are still warriors and knights. They know that what discipline is, and victory in war doesn't come without cost. Any among them who still haven't realized that aren't worth my time and effort. What does this have to do with me? A spark flashed in Regill's pale yellow eyes. I suppose, Commander, that for leagues around, from Canabras to Dresden, and from Dresden to the cursed city of Iz, at the heart of the whirlwind, all of this pertains to you in one way or another. You are the catalyst that shifted an age-old balance. Whether you meant it or not, your own future and much more depend on the decisions you make here and now, even the ones that seem insignificant. I will support you and recommend that the Knights of the Sunrise fall in under your command, but I will expect your support in return, Paralictor. How we're going with this? I would gladly give my support to one who can effectively fight the demons, and now let's turn to our orphans. Regill looks at the warriors in white and yellow, shifting cheerlessly from one foot to the other. Initiates of the Sunrise Sword, your leader is dead. The Order has suffered serious losses and will not be able to recover. You may return to Mendev to join another Crusader Order and hope that they don't meet the same fate as the Sunrise. Oh, he's giving them an option. Okay. Or you may remain... Dude, this guy is very pragmatic. Very, very neutral. He's not good, he's not bad. I will not promise it will be easy or that our war making will be constricted by your principles. What I can promise is this: under my command, you will never again feel like helpless mice in the talons of a ravenous raptor. Melee scoffs. He's used to people following his orders. Then again, these sniveling cowards are used to humiliating treatment. They won't even consider testing him a little. Sunrise Sword Priestess, does that mean we've worked off our precious, the precious resources you spent on us? The water, medicine, and bandages? Yells one of the knights in white and yellow. I wouldn't make such an offer if I thought you were useless garbage. Wow. Sunrise. The initiate Sunrise Sword consult with each other for time, and then one of them, a young woman in knight's armor, steps forward. Thank you for the trust, Paralictor. We will stay, and we are ready to obey your orders. Okay, cool. I respect this guy a lot more than when I first encountered him. He does what is necessary. Fine. In due course, I will review your troops and make any necessary decisions regarding your role in my unit. Regill turns to you. And now, Commander, for the most important issue, cooperation between our forces. We do have a common enemy and a common battlefield. My army and I are going to Dresden to free the city from demons. You can join forces with us. I helped you handle the attack. Okay. Yep. Regill rubs his chin pensively. Dresden, an ambitious goal, but more reasonable. I imagine how such a victory would rally all the separate bands of today's Crusaders under one banner, and we certainly need a base of operations inside the Whirlwind. I stand ready to support you. Moreover, I can accompany you in your campaign. However, I would remind you that Hellknights are outside of Mendev's jurisdiction. My unit and I will join your forces and obey your orders, but only for as long as I deem that our goals coincide. I like his eyes. They're still bright. Neither the darkness nor the paleness has taken them, for now. I never dealt with the Hellknights before, but from what we've seen, they're serious fighters. That's just what we need. And just think how that armor will look in the paintings they'll make about our battles. It's a deal. Yes, Commander. My forces in Regill Debrief are at your disposal. Okay, well, cool. Yeah, but you can just, we're not taking you with us for now, but cool.
We march ahead.
That is wild. I cannot believe we did that. I cannot believe we managed that. That was actually... That was the hardest fight ever. Like, absolutely impossible without cheese. Not a chance of success without cheese. Oh, a ring. Very nice. Demonic. Talk to this dude after we save. You're still alive. Please be Sarenrae. Bruh.
Will guide us.
Hey, was that the Yeah. That's Praise the Sun from Dark Souls, isn't it? Let me check that. Let me see. Pretty sure that's Praise the Sun. Yeah, that is Praise the Sun from Dark Souls. That is awesome. That is so cool. That's such an awesome tribute to Dark Souls.
Godspeed.
That's wild. Time of the First Crusade, wow. Child with strange proportions and animal paws instead of its right arm and leg.
Let us
So it's that Netflix show, what is it, Sweet Tooth?
Alright, that's gonna be it from me, boys and girls. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you for watching. When we pick up tomorrow, we will be jumping into Social's quest, I believe. Yeah. See you on the other side.